All right, everybody ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
We're at 9272, right?
92, what?
9272?
I had start on page 42, which is 325.21.
93.25.
What'd you have? I'm not trusting.
I had 93.27.
You got what?
93.27.
Yeah, I think we, when we stopped, we had jumped forward on a few,
Oh, okay.
and then, so we decided to go back to that, and
Okay,
just
so,
because we were getting a little, punchy, I think, in there.
so 93.25, what?
20.21.
.21.
Can you, this is agenda there. All right, I'm gonna call this meeting to order at 5 PM. All members are present. This is acceptance of minutes. Would that just be for the last meeting?
Yeah, the last meeting, we had 2 sets on there, but we didn't accept them.
Okay, so which dates are the meetings for?
It would have been
November 12th,
November 7th and
November
then, October, hang on just a minute.
December 4th.
December 4th.
December 4th.
October 7th,
December.
December 4th. So I look to accept the minutes for November 7th and December 4th.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Fidel, seconded by Mr. Clark. Any discussion? You get to look at them? Yeah, okay. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passed unanimously. All right, so we'll continue. I had written down 93, 25, 21, the consent agenda. Let me open it up to the one Teresa has here. for us.
Teresa, did we accept the minutes for September?
That is, I think, we did the September,
We did.
that was in the October one, I can't remember. Maybe we just did them all at next time, so that we make sure.
There's so much paperwork.
I honestly think that the 2 minutes that we should have accepted were the September and the November 7th, because the last meeting was December 4th, and
I think so.
had those included.
I think so too. I think we need to accept the September minutes too.
Okay, do we have a date on that?
September 16th.
How about October? We didn't meet in October.
I don't think we met in October.
So September 16th.
Yep, it was September 16th, November 7th.
And we haven't done
December
December 4th.
4th.
yet. We've gotta do that next time.
You make a
We
motion?
met twice in 1 month too.
It was October 17th and, just a minute, I'll go back to the last agenda where we had the ones on
We
there.
had nothing.
All right, do you wanna double check before the end of the meeting? We'll
Go back to it.
approve all the meetings. If all goes well, this might be our last meeting. All right, so within this, we have 93, 25.21. We have the older one and the newer one. We had,
This is the order, the consent agenda?
Right.
yeah. And we had, in the old one, we had a list of items that were, applicable for the.
Examples of
of what could be
Yeah.
used, and those have been apparently eliminated.
Right.
So it's just kinda, and then it says routine, standard, non-controversial, and self-explanatory items may be placed on the consent, and I think that just covers everything
Yeah.
without trying to specify anything.
Yeah, because all you did is you had examples, you
Yeah.
know, they were just examples, they weren't all encompassing or
Mm-mm.
anything like that.
Okay, so we're good with that because that's already done. The current 9325.3, the current, rules of Robert's order shall govern except where in conflict with board bylaws. So I went through, and I'll kind of run through these.
Your
So,
scenarios? Or these scenarios?
well, these are just parliamentary rules that I
Right,
think should
right.
be clarified. So if any member wishes an item placed on the agenda, they should request the same from the chair. If the chair refuses, they may have it added by a written vote, by a written request of 4 members or 2/3 vote at a meeting.
Yeah.
Okay. But it can also be done by a written request of 4 prior to the meeting.
Oh, okay.
Then,
Makes sense.
That's what we operate on now.
it doesn't really say in here.
No, it doesn't say, but that's Robert's rules.
Yeah.
Right.
So, a majority of the body shall constitute a quorum.
A majority of the body or the present body?
No, the majority of the body is a quorum.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, quorum, okay.
No, and then a majority vote of all 4 board members is required for passage of all actions of, when I change it to a majority vote of the body, because,
Well,
and not that it's gonna happen, but say hypothetically, we have 2 vacancies, that's, the Board of Ed is now 5 members, right? So a majority would be 3 members to take that action. And again, or we could just leave it, cause it also says that we can waive the rules of any policy, and they might. But I think it should just be a majority of the body, which the body is the elected officials.
Well, we've been operating thus far, I think, to try to get decisions made by 4 members.
Yeah.
No matter how many people show up
Yeah.
at the meeting.
But the body would be the entire elected, and I don't know, you're.
7, I mean, we've used, seated members, is that?
Well, seated members, yeah, seated, but I think if you call it out the body, then the body is the elected Board of Ed.
But do we have the we don't use the body anywhere else, do we have the body defined somewhere in the document?
No, but I think that kind of clarifies it, because, and the only reason why I would say it that way is because hypothetically, if we had a 2-member vacancy, now we're down to 5, you know,
But we still want 4 votes.
or do we want 3 votes, and because then you might not get any business done, it would be a majority of of the body at that time. And that would be a rare case.
Yeah, I mean,
We've
Or-
seen rarer things happen.
Yeah. Or do we just wanna leave it as a majority vote of 4 board members is required for passage of all actions?
well, it would be, if you're gonna do it that way, it wouldn't be a majority vote
Yeah.
of 4, it would be the affirmative vote of 4.
Right.
And
board
if-
members.
Well, and it could be yeah.
You can only pass something if you have 4 votes.
Yeah, an
That's
affirmative
it.
vote of all 4 members are required for passage of all actions, okay? All members must vote on all matters unless a legitimate conflict is declared and accepted by the chair. All votes must be by a voice vote, a non-response is considered a vote in the affirmative. Any member may give a brief clarification for a no vote. All matters should be moved and seconded before discussion begins. At the chairman's discretion, they may allow for a voice vote on non-substantive matters. However, any member may request a roll call vote if they question the final vote count. All other matters will be done by a roll call vote. And then.
What are all other matters?
And basically anything, it says non-substantive.
Yeah, so how would you define?
So things like policy, budget, even appointments. So like obviously the consent agenda could just be a voice vote. You know, the chair counts if there's conflict there, but.
What do you take a roll call vote on now?
Pretty much everything.
Not everything, a lot of the, like the,
Motion to adjourn.
yeah. But some of the committee, like policies, I take a roll call
Pretty
vote
much
for.
unanimously by the time we get there.
Sometimes I'll even do just the first reading, I'll do as a voice
As a
vote.
voice vote, yeah.
Acceptance of other, smaller items I'll do, but policy and budget.
Minutes, we usually do by voice.
Minutes I'll do by just a voice
Yeah.
vote,
Mhm.
so.
And so how do you have it worded, all
So at the chairman's discretion, they may allow for a voice vote of non-substantive issues. However, any member may request a roll call vote if they question the final vote count. All other matters will be done by a roll call vote.
Why don't you just say that the chairman has the discretion to call for a voice vote on non-substantive issues, but any member of the Board of Education could request
Right.
a roll call vote
All right, well then I
on
would just
any,
leave
on
that.
any matter.
Well, and that's when I said, and all other matters will be done by, it's basically what you said, but all other matters will be done by a roll call vote. Anyway, and then the other one, which has been is, so any rules or regulations may be suspended. There's a couple of different 9311 and 9312. 9311, the fourth sentence, and 9312, the second sentence, have two different ways to go about it.
9311, the fourth sentence?
Yeah. I think that's the one I got, let's see.
The majority vote and the majority. vote.
All rules or regulations may be suspended at any meeting by a majority vote of the board members present. And then 9312 says policies, bylaws, Board of Ed adopted regulations shall be subject to suspension for a specified purpose and limited time by a majority vote of all board members at a meeting in the call for which the proposed suspension has been described in writing, or upon a 2/3 vote of all members of the Board of Ed, no such written notice has been given. Yeah.
Don't you think that's better than the way it's phrased in 9311?
I think the longer definition is better, yeah.
I put either one, so that's kinda, I wanted to have it for discussion.
See, to me, I like the longer one, the second one, because I think that, you know, you can suspension of rules should be extraordinary, okay? And so you can suspend it, if the notice is given and the reason for suspension, you can suspend it with a lower bar and a lower vote than if it's not. You know, if it's a surprise at a meeting or something comes up at a meeting, I think you probably want a supermajority to vote for a suspension of the rules.
So then we would wanna strike on 9311, any rules or regulations may be suspended at a meeting by a majority vote of the board members present.
Correct.
Alright, so I would make a motion to strike that.
Second.
Second by Mr. McDowell, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passed unanimously. And this could even go 9312, the description there, which is the longer version, could even go in 9311, I think.
It probably should, well,
Proposed new bylaws, this is just, may be adopted by the majority vote. This is usually done. Cause 9311 is formulation, adoption, amendment of policies, and this is proposed new bylaws and its suggestion, and this is in reference to bylaws, but bylaws are a policy.
They're not really, but you can put them into both, both of them into one.
yeah, we can combine those.
Formulation, adoption, amendment of policies, and
And
bylaws.
And bylaws.
Yeah.
But if you look at our policies,
Yeah.
not the 9,000 is in our policies, and that's the bylaws.
Oh, okay,
Um,
okay.
But I don't know that it would be terrible to. So do we, I mean, we could even just eliminate the 9311, 93 board policies. I mean, do we wanna just eliminate 9312 and just move that into 9311?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so then you make a motion to eliminate the category 9312 and move the category previously called 9312 into the 9311 page.
Yes.
Second by Ms. Powers, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed unanimously. All right, so then back to my parliamentary aid.
Did we get rid of 9311.11?
It's still in this version.
It's
Yeah.
still, yeah, the new version Teresa gave,
Yes,
we got rid of that,
it's in the new version.
okay. I think a lot of it is redundant, so.
Okay. So, a I'm looking at. And I know we changed it, like, so the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th sentence down, policies and policy amendments, but it should be the superintendent, board members, school personnel, or community members, or the policy committee. We had changed that language to
But
include
we
that.
added it somewhere else.
Did we, or did we, I know we changed it there, cause that wasn't always the,
Policies and policy amendments may be initiated by the superintendent, board members, school personnel, community members, or the policy committee.
where is that?
That's on 9311, the new version.
It's on 9311, the new version, but we added it to 9000A. That's the
Okay.
first page. And we referenced 9311 and 9311.11, but do we need to have both of them?
And then the first sentence of 9311 too.
9311 or 931111?
9311, policy proposals, suggested amendments to deletions or revisions of existing policy shall normally be submitted to all board members by the superintendent in writing prior to the scheduled meeting. Which,
Let's take out
And-
the word normally.
well, but again, that's where the 9311, the other paragraph, policy and policy amendments, I think is more inclusive of everybody. I mean, it should even maybe say shall be submitted to all board members in writing and leave out by the superintendent prior to a regularly scheduled board meeting in which proposed there shall be read and discussed. But that's typical anyway, I don't think we need them.
Yeah, but it may be typical, but it should be on paper if we're gonna do it that way,
Okay.
so let's.
So then then 9311 should say, I think, policy proposals, suggested amendments, to deletions, or revisions of existing policies shall be submitted to all members of the Board of Ed in writing prior to a regularly scheduled Board of Ed meeting in which such proposed policies, amendments, or revisions thereof shall be read and discussed.
So removing the words normally and by the superintendent.
Yes.
Correct. Second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Now, the fourth, the 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth in 931111, policies and policy amendments may be initiated. That's only in 931111.
No, it's on 9000A.
Oh, it is in 9008?
Yes,
Okay,
it's in
sorry.
there.
Okay,
So we can get rid of that.
So,
So motion to strike the fifth sentence in 9311.11.
I'll second it. Any discussion? Opposed? Motion passed unanimously.
before we move on, I'm getting a little confused. What's 9311 look like now after the amendments? No, I have that.
Yep.
After the amendments we just made.
So we, in the first paragraph, we
Yeah.
removed the word normally,
Okay,
and we removed by the superintendent,
okay,
and we took out the last sentence, starting with any rules or regulations, because that's in,
9212,
9312.
okay.
And then, so 9312, oh, okay, that's where we have that. But maybe not, all members, it occurs. So 9312, the first sentence, proposed new bylaws or revision, so that's kind of the by majority vote are adopted, the standing committee of the board of ed, the agenda. So that first sentence, well, it adds a couple extra things in there, but proposed new bylaws.
I think what we're getting mixed up on is that all three of these have this, basically the same title. They're referring to different things. The first one is the formulation, adoption, and amendment of policies. That's fine. The second one is, 9311.11 is board policies in conjunction with applicable law.
Yeah. Okay,
And 9312
it's bylaws.
is bylaws.
So.
Policy of bylaws, or bylaw policy, however you wanna call it.
So, right now, it says, 9311 says, policies will be by a majority vote of members present of the Board of Education, be adopted or amended.
Right.
9312 says proposed new bylaws, suggested amendments of existing bylaws may be adopted by a majority vote of all members of the Board of Education.
Where are we looking?
So you got
9312,
9311, the second paragraph would need to be changed.
and the third paragraph too. Formal adoption of policy shall be by a majority vote of all members present. It should be by a majority vote
Of all members,
of all members of the Board of Education.
yeah.
So you would make a motion to strike the word present,
Yes.
on the second and third paragraph of 9311.
Of 9311.
Majority vote, I would actually make it, I would add the words, all members. I would strike present.
Okay, cause the second one says all members present, and the other one just says the members
Of
present.
all members. So policies will, by majority vote of all members of the Board of Education, be adopted or amended after consideration at a standing
Yes.
committee meeting, okay?
Yes.
And then the second one is the formal adoption of policies shall be by a majority vote of all members of the Board of Education.
Yes,
Okay,
You making that motion?
yes.
second,
Second, Mr. Stella, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed unanimously.
and then in 9312,
Mhm.
that's all members. The second to last sentence, or the last sentence, should read, oh, is this different? A majority vote of all members of the Board of Education at a meeting described in writing or upon 2/3,
Of all members of the board.
2/3, okay, so that's fine, never mind.
Can I ask one question though, when it says when all members, when we were talking about policies a minute ago, it says there's 7 members, now does that mean if only 5 come to a board meeting?
Still need four.
Still need 4
We
votes.
still need the 4.
Right.
But if 4 were there, it wouldn't work.
No, it would be a quorum, we'd still need 4 votes.
Right,
Yeah.
but I'm saying if they voted 3-1, it
Then,
wouldn't pass.
then
would
the
not
motion
pass.
wouldn't pass,
Right,
whatever
that's
that
just what I
motion is.
wanted to clarify for
And-
myself.
And then so, in the further down where before we jump backwards, when we were going through the, Robert's Rules of Order, it'll say in there that the passage of all, blah, 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 whatever, is a four-member vote.
Okay, I just wanted to get
Just
that in my
that to-
head so
to
that
clarify that.
going
Mhm.
forward, we know
Yeah,
the change.
All right, and then 13.
where are we now?
So did we moved 9312 to 9311?
Yes.
Yes.
So 9312 will not exist anymore.
Yeah, the number 9312 is no longer. And then even, well, just for 9313, well, I guess, they're all
Right.
bylaws of the board. so. So, under special meetings, 9321A,
9321,
under special meetings, I think it should be, so special meetings shall be called by the chairperson or on his absence or ability to act by the secretary whenever it is deemed necessary, or upon written request, it says 3 members, should that be 4 members?
Where are we? 93?
Special
Should be
meeting,
4 members.
Page 31,
Yeah.
special meetings, the first sentence.
It should be 4.
I think it should be 4.
All right, so 9321A, I'll make a motion under special meetings, that it should say, in the second sentence, deemed necessary upon written request of 4 members.
Second.
By Mr. Flork, any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion passed unanimously. And now, the last one, 9321A, adjournment of meetings. A quorum of the Board of Ed may adjourn any regular special meeting to a time and place specified in order of adjournment. In the event of a quorum is not present, the Board of Ed shall adjourn upon the majority of those present. Well, first of all, you can't have any action.
That's right, it's not a meeting if there's not a quorum.
But also, I think this should go under the Roberts Rules section.
Okay.
Because, well, and it says about the chairman too, that the chairman can adjourn a meeting. And that's, if you read Robert's Rules of Order, that's different than adjourning the meeting, like ending the meeting. You adjourn the meeting to a later date.
Yeah, when Robert's Rules uses that, when it says adjourn, it doesn't mean ending the meeting, you're right, it means adjourn to another date. That's the way Robert's Rules
Yeah.
uses it.
Place is specified. So, should we move that then to 93, what's the number?
The Robert's Rules section?
Yeah, I don't know if it has a number.
Yeah, it has a number.
My page doesn't have a number.
Well, it's 9325.3, page 38 on the updated rule.
9325.3?
Yes. So we're moving that adjournment notice?
Yeah. And I think it's in the, I could be wrong, but I think it's in the chairman's duties as well, but, the chairman of the chair or a quorum of the Board of Ed may adjourn any regular special meeting to a time and place specified in order of adjournment. In the event a quorum is not present, the Board of Ed, I mean, we should probably eliminate that second sentence. Because you can't even make a motion to reschedule it. You can't call the meeting to order without a quorum.
Without a quorum, that's
And you can't,
correct.
so then you can't adjourn it to a specified
No, you can't.
time and place.
That's right.
So hypothetically, if, I called it the secret meeting.
The only-
And only told 3 people, and then, we adjourned it to another time, didn't tell anybody, and held the meeting, it would be an unofficial act, but,
Yeah, but you're right, without a quorum, you
Yep.
can't really take any action.
So we need to get rid of that sentence. The only time I've ever seen this come into play
Yeah,
is when there were too many people in this room and they had to adjourn
To another time.
to another location.
Yeah.
but that's different though,
Yeah.
than what we're talking about here.
Well,
Cause there would be a quorum there at that meeting.
Right, no,
the
I
last
think that
sentence.
sentence, but that's,
Oh.
that first sentence.
So the first sentence, so we'll do, and the other time would be if the crowd gets unruly. And then you could adjourn the meeting to a later time and place, or whatever it might be.
What
Correct.
if there is a quorum to start the meeting and then if something happens, they leave, and then it goes below the quorum?
That's a good question.
Then you would have to motion, even with less people, you'd have to motion to adjourn to another time.
That is a good.
We couldn't suspend the meeting.
Because no action can be taken.
Hmm. The chair would probably have to,
I'm not sure what Robert's Rule says.
look it up. But I think at least, so, taking 9321A, adjournment of the meetings, out of that section, moving the first sentence to 9325.3,
Mhm.
and then, we can look at what the response would be.
I was just
If-
putting it out there, because
no.
I'm trying to figure out why you would have less than to
Yeah.
start the meeting.
It could
Well,
happen,
say
though,
Sean and I were both
theoretically.
doing babies at the same time, and we were supposed to leave.
Well, then, you know, then it might be, in the event a quorum is lost, I don't know if that would be the proper word, in the event a quorum is lost, the board chair shall adjourn, or the chair shall adjourn the meeting to a later time and place.
Yeah, you could do that, you could give the chair,
And it wouldn't be necessarily, if it was a committee, you know, or the committee chair, if you fell below the quorum, you know, you say, we don't have a quorum. You know, you typically don't start a meeting before a quorum, when you have a quorum, you lose the quorum.
Well, like virtual meetings,
Yeah.
a lot
Yeah,
of times
that
you lose a
does-
lot, you
yeah.
lose the quorum
That
because
could happen.
they,
Hmm.
computer issues or whatever.
Yes,
and-
that can happen.
And it does, it does talk about how, what happens if a person in the meeting who's virtual needs to be a part of the entire conversation.
right,
Needs to be heard, they
Right.
can't partake in a vote unless they've heard the entire
right.
topic, but, yeah.
But it's a good idea, I think, to set forth that in that event, something like that happens, that the chairman has the authority to adjourn the meeting to a set date, or, you know,
Yeah.
future date. Cause it could happen with virtual meetings.
So, and it says of the Board of Ed, but I would think a quorum of the meeting, cause if you have a committee, it's not just the Board of Ed, right?
Well, it
Says-
doesn't have to be, what's it say, Chris?
An adjournment can be made while business is pending, provided that the rules of the group provide for another meeting. When business is pending and the motion to adjourn is adopted, the unfinished business is carried over to the next meeting. So theoretically, you wouldn't be adjourning the meeting, well, adjourn is being used in two different ways here, so.
Right.
You'd adjourn,
You're
to-
not
you
closing
don't
the
close that
you're
meeting, it would just
closing
extend.
this part of the meeting.
Right, it would just extend to
Or
the
it gets
next
too
meeting.
late, it's too late in the night.
If too many of, you just extend it to, but I don't think a motion is needed, the chairman can just suspend. Parliamentary rules to adjournment must be seconded. It does require a majority vote, it cannot be amended or debated. It is out of order when a member has the floor, that doesn't matter, but it is required a majority vote, so. So if people were to leave, if 2 people or 3 people were to leave, 4 people were to leave, it would have to be
You might
4,
start
'cause-
with only 5 people, maybe 2 people weren't there that day, so,
Hmm?
and 1 person leaves, and now you're down to 4, so,
but
you still have
still
quorum,
could do
yeah.
it with 4.
yeah.
And I think this talks specifically about Board of Ed meetings,
Mhm.
but it says regular or special meetings.
But if we could start a meeting with 4, if we went down to 3, the meeting just wouldn't adjourn. It wouldn't end, it would just have to be carried
It would have
over.
to be, yeah, continue
Whoever
to
was
another
chairing the
date.
meeting would have to just carry it over.
Which probably should give the chair the specific authority to do that.
To do
in
that, yes.
Situation.
But if we had 3, we couldn't start a meeting anyway.
No, you could,
But if you start a meeting, in the event, the membership, during the process of a meeting, if the membership fell below quorum levels, the chair may adjourn the meeting to a later date, a later time and date.
Right.
Or.
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
that works.
So a quorum of the Board of Ed may adjourn at a regular time. In the event a quorum is lost
Yeah.
during the proceedings of a meeting, the chair may adjourn the meeting to a later time and place.
Right. That works.
All right, so, and that will be my motion, and the motion will also be to move it into 9325.3 and remove it from 9321A.
Okay. Second.
Second by Mr. Floor, any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passed unanimously. So 9321, we changed the word for from 3 to 4, we eliminated that and moved it.
Right.
And then, okay. And then 21B, a copy of the adjournment shall be construed from here. That's normal stuff. Okay, public meetings. I did note about executive sessions too. 9322. I don't know if we resolved that.
In what way?
I don't know, I just had a note about it, so, 9322. So like I had the first sentence is stated on the next page. So the part about all regular members shall be open to the public, except for the a chance or social meeting, a caucus, or person on executive level, or a discussion are not defined as meetings. I think that's maybe. Oh, and then non-meetings, any meeting of a search committee, any chance. So that whole second, sentence is the whole bottom paragraph of the next page.
What do you mean?
So it says a chance or social meeting, in 9322, the first page, the second sentence, a chance or social meeting, a caucus, a meeting personnel for executive level employment, or a discussion, strategy, or negotiation with respect to, are not defined as meetings under the Freedom of Information Act.
That's correct.
And then on the next page of the bottom paragraph,
Oh, yeah.
it says, not meetings, not every meeting of a meeting under the freedom, any meeting of a personnel search committee, executive level candidates, any chance meeting or social meeting, any meeting discussing strategy or negotiation, so a caucus of the members, which is all that stuff, is in that. So we could eliminate the second sentence in the first paragraph of 9322 because it's stated on the next page.
Yeah. The next page has one additional.
Yeah, so I think it would be better
I
to
think
leave the
you just-
non-meetings
So,
and let it get.
eliminate the
I think
second
it's better
sentence.
to have it listed out like this than.
Correct,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I would make a motion under 9322, first paragraph, to remove the second sentence, starting with a chance and ending, look at this,
With freedom of information.
that's like the whole,
Yeah, it's all right.
all the way down to, almost advocacy or power. Right?
I think that whole first section, that whole first paragraph there
Mhm.
is just a summary of what's to come in the next two sections. We could probably eliminate that because,
The whole
the,
thing,
yeah, we could eliminate the whole thing.
okay.
Because the first, it's just a summary of it. The first sentence is all meetings of the Board of Education, regular, special, or emergency, shall be open to the public.
Alright, so you're making a motion to eliminate
The
the
entire-
first paragraph, public meetings on 9322. Is that correct?
Do you wanna keep the first sentence, all meetings?
That's what I'm debating, Teresa.
I think you should, cause then it breaks it down into all the different executive session and FOIA and
We can get rid of the chance part.
Yep.
So-
I think just keep the first sentence and then get rid of the rest of it.
The rest of it.
So we would get rid of the first, even the first heading, public meetings, move the first sentence down into,
No,
No,
just
no.
leave the first sentence under public meetings.
Yes, I agree.
Just eliminate from a chance or social meeting down to the Freedom of Information Act, leave the first sentence, and then you have the sections, executive sessions, and
Yeah.
non-meetings after that.
I think that's better.
okay, so first section will have only one sentence and then it'll move into executive session.
Correct.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Dow, seconded by Mr. Neil Powers, any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, motion passes unanimously. Did you get that, Teresa?
I did.
Okay. Show other persons, I think we can, remove the, I don't know if we did already, I think we did, yeah, smoking is not in there anymore. Non-meetings, that's all, the next one's fine, I think. Construction, delivery of agenda.
Wait,
Oh,
where are you?
So I hopped up to 9324 page.
We eliminated 9324, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I already had stated, okay. So then we're at 9325.
Right.
So
And-
no votes or official action of the board may be taken without a quorum present. No meeting can happen without a quorum present.
Proxy vote is prohibited, and this is where it came into that as well. In the event any meeting is interrupted by a person or group of persons is rendered the orderly conduct, meeting cannot be restored. The board conducting the meeting may order the meeting room cleared and continue in session only matters appearing on the agenda. That's a little different then.
It's a little different, but I think the first sentence implies that a meeting can go forward without,
No votes or official action may be taken without a quorum present.
no meeting can happen without a quorum present.
Well then,
You can still have illegal meetings.
Well, a lot of times what'll happen, in my experience, is you show up for meetings, regular scheduled meeting, but there's not a quorum, okay? So the meeting can't continue, no votes can be taken, but there's nothing prohibiting the members that are there from continuing to sit there and talk amongst
Discuss.
themselves.
so how about, what if it said, no meeting may be called to order, no votes or official action may be taken
Yeah,
without.
that works,
So,
that works.
alright, so on 9325, I would make a motion to start by saying, no meeting may be called to order, comma, no votes or official action, and no votes or official action of the board may be taken without a quorum present.
Second.
Second by Mr. Dow, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passed unanimously. 9325.1, I think we eliminated. Yep,
Point one or point two one?
point one,
Okay.
I have that on my page. And point 21, we shrunk it way down. And then we get back to where we started. Which would be 9325.3, parliamentary procedures.
Right.
And are you guys okay with all the,
Your suggestions?
Yeah.
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 I thought they sounded very good.
and did you get all that under there?
I did not, I've gotta get it from the video.
Email them to her.
Okay, I'll email, so, just for my own clarification. So, we were going with 9312, I think, right? Which was page 29, the definition, the longer definition.
Right.
Okay,
Of what?
so of how the rules may be suspended,
Okay.
okay?
9312.
And then there was one other thing, I don't know if we did it yet, which I had there, 9272.7.
But we moved 9312 to 9311.
Yes. 9272, just, and I think there's a sense that I feel strongly that we should keep in there. 9272,
Yes.
9272.
Page 26.
72. Okay, well, it's under code of conduct. It says on data use though, 9272. And in the new one, respect the confidence, so it says code of conduct on data use, which is still in here, but.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
I don't even know that we need that section. My whole point was I wanted to keep number 2, abide, and I think that should go into the Robert's rules. Abide by a majority decision of the board retaining the right to seek changes to, or even move that to 9,000, section 3, which is duties and legal responsibilities.
What was that number? 90?
It's a front page, so 9,000
Okay.
is
Got it.
the duties and legal responsibilities.
Yeah.
And respect and I don't know that we need to respect the confidentiality of privileged information, because Or if we move that into this as well, select, you know, create and abolish, be responsible, seek to facilitate, prepare, establish, provide appraisal. In this case, the board shall comply with the following guidelines. I mean, I think we should move maybe both 9272 into duties and responsibilities.
All of it?
Well, it's just two sentences
I just wanted to,
under the new, so the last two sentences you have highlighted in yellow, that's it.
Yeah.
Cause it, I mean, this is on data use, and I don't think that has anything to do with data. You know, the duties, and the
Right.
board shall respect the confidentiality of privileged information and abide by majority decision of the board or obtain the right to seek changes through ethical. I think that's,
Move it.
okay, I think that second sentence though, you know, it should be, in the front, so. All right, so I'd make a motion to move 92, to delete 9272 and move the two sentences currently in 9272, to section 3, 9000A,
Duties and legal responsibilities.
duties and legal responsibilities.
Second.
Any other discussion?
So it'll be 14 and 15 on there.
Correct.
No, there's
Wait, there's.
No,
14 and 15
sorry,
is on the
17 and
second page,
18.
it'd be 17 and 18, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so,
Can, just, for clarification, Teresa, when we go through the last run through of this, can we make sure that wherever it says majority vote, it says majority vote of all members?
yes. Yeah, like I told you, this is a very rough draft.
No, I totally understand that, that's why I'm just to put it out there, I think it should, where it says majority vote,
Yep.
because it does say majority vote in a few places, it should say majority vote of all members.
and in this Robert's rules, it says an affirmative vote of four board members is required for passage of all actions.
Yeah, but let's make the document consistent.
Yes, yep. 9325-2.
9325-2? Four.
I don't have.
4.4.
Okay.
9225. One consent agenda, 11.4. All votes by absentee, vote recording.
This is your definition, John.
Okay,
But I think it should say the affirmative vote of a majority of all board members, not all seated board
agreed.
members.
And since we're using that.
Yep.
Keep it consistent.
So it should say, the second sentence of that motion to change the second sentence of 9325.4 to the affirmative vote of a majority of all board members and strike all the seated
Right.
members
So-
of the.
So then, so on number 3, the appointment or dismissing of teachers and other school employees is on the consent agenda. I would say appointing or dismissing the superintendent and scratch teachers or any other school employees.
You usually do that on the teachers or other employees on the consent agenda,
Yeah,
do you?
yeah. The administrators
It
will,
was moved to consent agenda 7 or 8 years ago, yeah.
the personnel report, but if there is, but any member can take an item off. So-
Right.
So if there's an administrative hire, a lot of times we'll take it off and discuss that specific. It goes to the personnel committee,
Okay.
for a vote before it gets its final approval,
Mhm.
or gets onto the consent agenda, but typically those we do take off and discuss separately.
So it should be appointing or dismissing the superintendent?
Yeah. And I would even put, final adoption of policies as well.
It has policy adoption there. Number
Adoption of
6.
textbook?
Number 6.
Policy adoption.
Oh, we added that one already, okay.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, at least I'm consistent. 93, 25.3.
Do you think we should change number 2, adoption of textbooks, to adoption of curriculum?
Yeah, probably, yes.
Makes sense.
Well, we don't use
Yeah.
specific textbooks anymore, it's
We don't
really the.
adopt textbooks.
No, but we do adopt a lot of curriculum,
Right.
so I think it should say curriculum.
Okay.
Second that.
So it says.
All in favor?
Before you do that, so any agenda item requiring expenditure or receipt of monies, would that be the final budget?
Sure would.
That would be, should we then say, including the annual budget, or no?
No.
Okay, okay, so go ahead and just restate that whole thing, what you wanna do. if you
So,
could.
do you want me to do did we do the affirmative sentence already? Did we vote on that?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so motion to amend 9325.4, vote recording, the second sentence to state the affirmative vote of majority of all board members, as opposed to all the seated members of the board. And then the second part of the amendment would be to amend number 2 from adoption of textbooks to adoption of curriculum.
So,
And then
are you
number
gonna change that teachers and other school employees too?
And then you're
And
gonna
then number
delete
3.
And number 3, yeah, sorry.
the last.
Number 3, eliminate teachers or other school employees.
Second.
Motion by Mr. McDowell, second by Ms. Angela Powers, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed unanimously. All right, 932543A.
I feel like this is such. Didn't we eliminate electronic meetings?
No, I don't think
I went to a FOIA thing at the CAPE thing, and it says that you have to allow, part of the FOIA regulations is you have to allow it.
we did. Right, I mean, you can't, it's, freedom of information allows you to have remote meetings now.
Under limited conditions.
And then, so, a board member participates in the meetings, it's a minutes, all meetings, member, electronic, when a member attends, all votes will be a roll call vote. And then, so. let's see, 93.
A board member may participate in a meeting through electronic communication means only when a quorum of the board is physically assembled at the meeting.
Right.
I don't think that's part of freedom of information.
I was surprised to hear how many boards were still having virtual meetings.
Is
A
that
lot of
right?
them aren't doing in-person meetings, I was like, wow.
Milford Land Use still does, and they had a case.
Is that right?
They had a case where they had 100 people from the public signed up to speak, and they did it virtually.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, that's painful.
And-
They did curriculum virtually until through the spring last year.
Yeah, this was like, last month they were saying how when they're still virtual, they had everyone raise their hand, I was like, oh, I haven't been virtual.
So,
Everything I do is still virtual. So.
alright.
But can we say that? Can we say that a board member may participate in a meeting through electronic communication means only when a quorum of the board is physically assembled at the meeting?
If the statute allows for virtual meetings, you can't,
We can't state that.
correct, you
But-
can't restrict it more than the statute allows.
So we need to eliminate that.
Or we can leave it and say unless regulated by state statute.
But it is regulated, but that's what I'm saying, it is regulated by state statute.
The state statute said we can't regulate that?
the state statute says that we can have electronic
Meetings.
meetings, but this is stating that a member can only go electronic if a quorum is physically assembled.
Okay, and I think it says it's further back in here too. But, so, all right, so we'll eliminate that because we
I
think
think
that's.
we have to.
Yeah, you can't restrict, you
Now, this
can't
is
restrict
one
what the
board
statute
member
allows.
attending, like when somebody attends virtually, but the rest of us are present physically.
Right.
That, it's not just a virtual meeting, it's a board member being able to attend either over the conference phone or by
Correct,
video.
that's correct.
Okay,
Right, but I still
So
don't think
we
we can have that sentence in
we would
there.
be eliminating the middle sentence. So
I-
board
I-
member
yeah, I don't
will be
think
available.
All would have the option to.
Yeah, I think we would all have the, like, if, you know, our next meeting comes up and it's snow and Mike decides
Well,
that
if
he
we
wants
were
it to be
all
virtual.
Yes, I mean, that would fall under that, what we were talking about, what was allowed during, like, they set the precedent during COVID, when you could have a virtual meeting. This is that we're having a normal meeting and say, you can't attend the meeting because you're away, but you could attend via the computer or a conference phone.
Yeah.
Just like usually for one board member or two, it says that a physical quorum has to be present physically before someone can participate virtually. Like if there were only 3 people showing up here, one couldn't show up on video or the phone and say we have a quorum. 4 would have to be present, and then the other person.
don't
But I don't know that we can restrict that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think we can restrict that. I think that if we were to have, regardless of what, if for, you know, in 3 weeks when we have our next board meeting, if only 3 people can physically walk to the building because there's 4 feet of snow on the ground, and 4 of us need to attend remotely, that's restrictive of that. That wouldn't let that
Right.
happen. So I think we need to eliminate that.
It wouldn't be, it would restrict voting and everything.
It would restrict that clause right there would restrict everything, but we
Right.
could still have that meeting if we went virtual.
Yeah, so let's,
When completely virtual, then we're covered, but I'm not sure, this is an old bylaw, this has been around since, I think in the first section and also in
2015.
2015.
That's, so I think that was, that whole electronic
Alright, well-
communications was drastically changed with COVID,
Right,
so.
because
So
this
then-
is addressing only if somebody wanted to.
Right.
so then let's strike that sentence. A board member may participate in a meeting through electronic means from a remote location that is not only to the public. ...
So we're eliminating only when a quorum of the board is physically assembled?
yes. So the second sentence in that will go. And that would make I'll make a motion to strike that.
Second.
Second one is Dottie, discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Now, on the next page, so this is attendance via electronic. A quorum member shall be physically present at the board when so that should be stricken, the first sentence. I think this whole sentence, this whole, a board member, a quorum is present, that's gone. The board makes arrangements to participate in her at the primary and central place. We already talked about that. The remote participant is able to participate in the entire board meeting.
Can we just strike this whole thing and say,
There's something I wanna keep in here though.
what's that?
The 1, 2, 3, 4th dot down. Board members participating electronically may cast votes. However, if a board member electronically joins the meeting after an item of business has been opened, the remotely located member shall not participate nor cast any vote until the next item of business is opened. Do we wanna keep that?
What difference does it make if I join
And that's, what was that?
remotely, or
In
if
person.
I walk
Walk in,
into the meeting when you guys have already discussed something for 15 minutes?
So is that can we say that a board member must be present for the entire discussion? But then again, if a discussion lapses over 3 or 4 meetings, a board member, I know, like on the council, we would have to review.
Yeah.
We were
That
told,
also-
we were told you have to go get the tape and
Tape,
listen to it
right,
before you can
right.
vote.
That also strikes the idea of these task force and everything else, when we're getting the information, you know, when we're getting a recommendation from a committee, you know, we're not present for all those conversations, but we're voting on by recommendation.
I think that's a little different, maybe, I mean, we could strike the whole sentence, I'm okay with that, you know, I mean, I don't wanna have something
I
that,
think that we should strike this whole section
Go
and
for
and
this.
go with,
Whatever freedom of.
yeah,
information
go with
act.
the, you know,
Yeah, I was just looking at the.
in order,
Freedom of
in order to,
Information.
yeah, Freedom
Mhm.
of Information Act shall govern electronic communications.
Yeah.
so maybe at the end, so strike 932543B.
A and B.
Well, board strongly members, I wouldn't be opposed to leaving A, because that kind of, it gives some details, which I think follows, shall be considered present only if you can hear.
Yeah, but it restricts it though.
It
It
restricts,
restricts it, and that's such an evolutionary part of FOIA right now, specifically because of the pandemic and everything that's
Yeah.
happened. I think we strike that and say, you know, all electronic meetings or communications shall be governed by the Freedom of Information Act.
and leave it at that one
And leave
sentence.
it at that.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
cause
that's,
these restrictions don't follow the.
no, they don't,
No.
Yeah.
they don't.
All right, so before we do that, then let's go to 9327A. And, because it's electric among board members. And again, I think this kind of falls.
This is emails amongst board members though, like emails, text messages, things like that. That's different.
Okay, so then, all right, so 9325.43A, 9325.43B,
Motion to strike.
the language, will be stricken, we'll retain 9325.43A, and the sole sentence in that will be,
The sole sentence in that will be that attendance at meetings via electronic means or attendance at meetings via electronic means will be governed by the Freedom of Information Act.
motion by Mr. Dow, second by Mr. Flork, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed unanimously. All right.
That Freedom of Information Act changes too
Yeah.
frequently to
Try.
constantly
No, I
update
agree,
these.
I agree with that.
9327A. I think some of this stuff is already spoken about.
It may be, but.
I think this deserves its own.
Okay. So you wanna leave 9327A, B, and C for now?
Yeah, I think so.
I think we leave that, yeah.
Okay. All right, we're almost there. 9400, 2 more pages, 1 more section. Meeting products and monitoring products and products. Grading themselves. We can leave this whole thing.
Can we take out that first sentence?
Members of the board have been willing to take on the difficult but crucially important task of grading themselves for the board which they serve.
Such subjective language.
It says willingly.
Jeez.
Should I say should take on?
Bylaws should not be in a subjective document. Take the summaries out. And
Okay.
stick with the facts here.
Okay. So you wanna get rid of the first
Yes,
sentence?
please.
All right, hold on, all right.
Go ahead.
Board of Ed shall follow through the policies, it shall evaluate how the policies have been executed by the school staff, and shall, the board shall rely on school staff to execute evidence of the effect of policies which is adopted. Maybe we could leave 9400B as well, I guess.
Yes, that's fine.
All right, so motion by Ms. Madell is strike the first sentence in 9400A. I'll second it. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Is there
The end.
anything else? And Teresa, I will send you over, I'll CC everybody on, the Robert's Rules of Order page. And then if you guys can just look at it and make sure I covered anything, and if there's something else that you think should be added between now and then, we can throw it in and just have a note, you know, whatever, and it'll be voted on by the full board. Do you guys feel comfortable stopping now and sending this document to the board? Once this is amended by our last, or do you wanna get together one last time and go through the whole thing?
I think once we have a clean document, give Teresa a couple weeks to do a clean document, maybe we should sit down one more time after. If you could send it to us
Yeah.
beforehand.
That's what I was just gonna say, so we can make it.
Okay.
Maybe the next time, cause I've gotta do a lot of reformatting and everything.
Yeah.
I do it and share it, and then people can actually put their suggestions.
And then we can comment in the document.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
No, it's not, cause it Google color codes everything, so it'll be fine.
But just having it in advance, we could review it,
Yes.
and even coming together and talking about it,
So-
having it ahead of time would be.
So, once you get it, why don't you give us a copy, or however means, Google, whatever it might be, and then if you guys feel like it's okay,
Uh-huh.
we can,
Send it to the board.
so I'm gonna ask for a vote now, so we don't necessarily have to, if after review, the document meets our,
We can meet virtually.
approval, then it will be sent to the board, with favorable recommendation. If not, then we'll call a second meeting. 'Cause otherwise, we gotta call a special meeting just to approve it. Or do you wanna just get together anyway?
I think we get together anyway, just to go through any last minute.
Okay. Okay,
I think
so,
we're gonna find a few things, we're
Yeah.
moving so much of
Probably.
it, no, it's not, no offense or anything, I just
No,
think
we're,
it's gonna be.
we're moving a lot, I think we're just gonna find things.
Again with fresh eyes.
Okay.
Yeah,
so then,
but after we get a chance to review it individually.
when is do you have, so the first
Finance meeting?
Thursday.
We have
uh,
100 finance meetings, I don't even have those on the calendar yet.
Yeah,
First February meeting would be the 6th, yes. Do you have anything for finance or budget on the 6th?
And I think we have the 3rd and the 5th.
The 3rd and the 5th, I believe, yeah.
Alright.
it's my husband's 40th birthday.
The 6th?
Yeah.
Don't do that day then.
What's on the 5th then? What time does the 5th start?
I think they all started.
They all start at 6:30.
Yeah, I think
So why don't we plan on getting together on the 5th then, if that works for everybody? Since we're already out, I know it's a different night for you, John, but would that
That's all
work?
right. It works for me.
Okay, so then we will plan on getting together, assuming we have the completed document from Teresa, we'll plan on getting together on Wednesday, February 5th at 5 p.m.
Good.
All right? And that'll be our last meeting.
Well, then we should be able to send it forward to the board, even if we don't do it at the end of February, we may be able to just kick it out to March. Cause
Well-
February is a long meeting anyway, so.
Yeah, bunch of meetings. And I don't know, Joe, we were just talking about, I think that this is probably gonna require some discussion from the other board members. So I'm thinking having it on the board night is probably not a good idea.
Okay,
I think we present it to them at the February meeting, we give it to them, you know, hopefully, we're at the point where we can give it to other board members with their February packet for first reads, to put it into first read status, and then you can call a special meeting in March or, you know, whenever you want to discuss it further, and then we can vote on it at either March or April,
Yeah,
March, theoretically.
So yeah, I just think it would be too much to try and digest or discuss at a board meeting, which typically can be lengthy anyways, so.
we have a lot of things coming up, so
Yes,
yeah.
yeah. Does that make sense?
February meeting is usually free up.
Okay, well, thank you, everybody, again, for all your work. It's been a long process, but thank you. And we went from,
People as a first read, and then,
we've dropped down at least 33% of the pages that were previously here. So
Good.
I think that's, and we've made it in a manner that,
Very good.
that makes it more understandable. Alright.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, Mr. Angelo Powers, second,
Second.
Mr. Floor, all in favor? Motion passes
Aye.
unanimously. And then Teresa, can you just check